live from the Richard Harris Law Firm Studios.
Strome opens up, sets up Hudson. An assist on the power play earlier. Strome drifting, feeding Strome. He scores! With lots of movement in front. Hill never got over there. It's another power play goal, and now it's tied 4-4.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Strome, the lefty, goes extreme right, out of the slot. Couple of fakes. Score on the backhand.
With Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
Starts right, the lefty to the middle. Stopped by Thompson with the pad, and the Capitals win. And despite the raucous comeback to take a 4-3 lead, the Knights settle for a single standings point and a shootout loss, 5-4 at the hands of the Washington Capitals.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Darren Millard hanging out inside T-Mobile Arena. Jared Justice, he's back live from the Richard Harris Law Firm Studios. Richard Harris Law Firm, where they've won billions for their clients with their less fee guarantee. How we doing, boys?
Wild couple of days in BGK land with the coaching change announced yesterday. John Tortorella arriving late last night and was at the team facility today. Met with the media. You'll hear from the new Vegas Golden Knights head coach as well as team captain Mark Stone in just a little bit, but we'll start off in a couple of seconds with the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, who made the decision to change coaches with 8 days left. And it was a surprise for a lot of people when you look at the performance of the team coming out of the Olympics and going back to really the third week of January, where they haven't been able to get traction. I think it's probably less of just taking your breath away type of move, because it doesn't happen, to be quite honest. Coaching change after the trade deadline of a playoff team, never mind inside of 10 games. But the way you look at it, if things aren't going to improve, and there was 3 chances since the resumption of play after the Olympics where you thought, boy, they've turned the corner. There's real grip on a positive stretch here, and it didn't happen. They weren't able to follow through with it, and you either have to just ride it out and take your chances, even though things aren't trending in the right direction, or you take your shot and you try to switch it up, and you put yourself in a better position, and you're able to maybe live with yourself a little bit more, that you did something, that you took an opportunity to change your fortunes, and that's what the Vegas Golden Knights did. They put their faith in the stock of the group and how much they feel this group can contend. And for whatever reason, they weren't winning hockey games. All the analytics point to, from defensively to chances offensively, were positive. But they weren't able to get any traction. And if nothing's been able to alter that course, what other options do you have after the trade deadline? Well, this is a situation where it's the coaching change, and there's no long-term commitment here with John Tortorella coming in to replace Bruce Cassidy. So it gives you a certain flexibility in the future with your head coaching assignment, but it also gives the room a little reset and an opportunity to gather themselves and use these final 8 games in a positive fashion going into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I think the way that Jack Eichel had framed it earlier today was it's a wake-up call, obviously. Anytime you're making a decision or a change of this magnitude, it's going to grab your attention as a player. It's going to grab your attention as a fan, all of it. However, it is also a scenario where you look at it and you don't make this change if you don't believe in what you've assembled in the room. If you don't believe that this team has the pieces to go on a run and do something pretty special. If you're looking at it from that perspective, yes, you're trying to grab someone's attention. Yes, you're trying to get more than what you're getting right now in terms of results. But at the end of the day, it is still understanding and done with the understanding that this team should be a contender, and you're hoping to be able to squeeze that out of them with this move.
John Tortorella has coached over 700 games in the National Hockey League, or won over 700 games in the National Hockey League, coached more than 1,600 in the NHL. He's seen it all, but this is a fresh look for him, coming in and taking over a playoff team, a team in a playoff spot with 8 games to go in the regular season. His comments to come, but first, the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon, on making the coaching change.
Good morning, everyone. Yesterday was a hard day for the organization. I've said before, as a manager, if you're going to do your job well, you have to make hard decisions on good people. On behalf of Bill Foley, George McPhee, and myself, I'd like to thank Bruce for his commitment and contribution to our organization over his 4 years here. He was the exact right coach at the exact right time for our team, and he helped us become Stanley Cup champions. I've enjoyed working with Bruce. We had a great relationship. I don't think we had an argument or a disagreement in 4 years. I wish him and Julie the best. He'll work again very soon and be very successful when that happens. So I wanted to say thank you, Bruce. Just in my opening statements, I'm going to sort of speak to why now and why John. And I guess with the first part of that, 25-26 has been a challenging season for our team. Like a lot of teams, like all teams, very compressed schedule. We had 8 Olympians, would have been 9 if William Karlsson had have been able to go. It puts a lot of demands on the players. Bruce as well was part of the staff. I think somewhere along the way we lost our spirit and we lost our energy as a team. We went into the Olympic break in first place. We'd been in first place for 96 days. Since then, we're 5-10-2. Since a 7-game winning streak in January, we're 8-15-4. We've gone from first to second to third to fighting for a playoff spot. We waited as long as we could on this. We see lots of positive signs in spurts in our game, but we just felt that we needed to bring a different person in to lead our team at this time. In John Tortorella, when we're at our best, we play hard, we play fast, we get on teams early. I think that lines up with John's philosophy as a coach. Defensively, we're very much aligned with how his teams play. We're 8 games remaining in the regular season. There's not time to come in and implement new systems across the board. There'll be tweaks, and I think the other thing that we're expecting is that within the system that we play, we have guys that do it a little bit better than we have been doing it. I think that John has great passion, great energy. He's a great communicator. He's very respected in the industry, experienced, comfortable in his own skin. I think he's going to give our team a spark. That's what I feel. Our team, if we didn't have the expectations and the belief in our team that we do, we probably would have let this thing ride out. We like our team a lot. We like our team a lot, and we think our team has a chance to win, and we needed to make this change to help that happen. We want to hit the ground running. It's game day, so John will have had the opportunity, as he has already, to address the team this morning. He'll take care of the morning skate, and then it'll be on with the preparation for the game tonight against Vancouver. So those are my opening comments. Open it up for questions.
You guys, we have mics on both sides, so just be patient with us as we get those around. We'll start with Danny here in the front.
Kelly, I'm not sure if you kind of elaborate on that, but can you give it kind of a timeline of when the decision was made? And along those lines, you mentioned that along the way that the spirit was lost. Did you get the sense that Bruce lost the room along the way? Or?
No, lost the room is something I've been seeing or reading, and no, I don't think that. I think that just the energy level, just for me, wasn't there. It just wasn't there. I think that we're a better team than what we're playing. I mentioned we're in the results business, right? So I mentioned how that's gone for us, but no, I didn't feel that that had happened at all.
And when did this come about quickly, or was it something that?
Well, you're always evaluating your team in terms of the exact timeline. I'm not going to get into that exactly, but I guess the length of time that you think about your team and what you think your team needs is probably a longer time frame. The time that you use to make the decision and take action is much shorter.
were there players or anybody in like the leadership group that was consulted over this? Did you speak to the players about this move?
No, I did not.
Alan?
I have since, but I did not prior.
Did you make this decision
by yourself, or was it a collaborative effort with George? And did the decision have to be signed off by Bill?
Yes, George and I work collaboratively on all decisions in hockey operations, including this one, and certainly Bill is involved and needs to sign off on anything that we do.
Hey, Kelly, in the past you've had to make 2 other tough coaching changes at the time that probably were pretty polarizing, and it seemed in the short term they worked out really well. Did that kind of inform or make you confident to make this move again?
Well, it's what I touched on earlier, that you need to make hard decisions, and the easiest thing in the world is to do nothing, right? And we wouldn't be having this press conference if that was the path that we chose. I think when we've changed coaches along the way, I'm going to say each time it was likely viewed by this room as being unpopular or not the right time, and I think in each case the decisions were good ones. We're living it every day, so I think that we have the information. I mean, we're working with it every day, and that's we used in terms of how we make the decisions. And there's a lot of dialogue, to the question earlier. There's a lot of dialogue between George and myself. I mean, our pro scouting staff is always evaluating our team when we have meetings. There's open discussions about what we like, where we need to be better. So those are things that go into how we run our hockey ops.
Go to Vince next.
Kelly, you make a move like this, obviously you're looking for a response right away. As you said, 8 games to go. When you met with the leadership group, what was their reaction? And I guess, what does that reaction look like tonight, aside from 2 points?
I think you're going to see a positive bump in our play. That's what we expect. The leadership group would feel, and when I say I met with the leadership group, I also met with the entire team. I think the leadership group would feel similarly to me. I think they all had Bruce positively impact them as players. I think they had respect for the person, as I do, and yet recognized that we needed to change something. With that, it's on everybody to do a little bit more, right? It's not going to be just because a new head coach walked through the door. We have to respond to each guy in a positive way.
Alex.
Kelly, you mentioned that there was a time, or throughout this time, the team had lost the spirit and the energy. For you, was there a specific moment that was kind of like the nail in the coffin?
No, I don't think so. I think you see it in glimpses, and it's going to happen in any year where there's a stretch where you feel that, and usually you work through it, or often you work through it, and we waited. We're in a situation where we needed to take action. That's how we felt.
Go back to Danny here in the front.
In terms of his contract, is it only through this year, or is it beyond this year? Or is there a plan?
John's just in for the balance of the season in the playoffs.
And it'll probably be reevaluated depending on.
We'll sit down at that time. It's very similar to the situation with Rick Bowness in Columbus. It's the exact same scenario that they've used there. And he's John's an experienced coach, right? So he's comfortable with that. We're comfortable with that. We're going to get to work, and we'll talk when the season's over.
Go back to Vince, and then back to Alan.
In terms of John, just your relationship with him in years past, and I don't know if you can detail the communication between you two in the recent weeks.
An American Boston, Massachusetts hockey coach and a Western Canadian junior operator. Nope. Nope. No, just obviously of all the people in the game, but no, I've met John in the past, but certainly never had a deep relationship with him like I might have with other guys. Really to maybe I didn't add it in my opening comments, but really direct, honest, keeps people accountable. Pretty easy to get to know John Tortorella. In terms of our own relationship, I think that'll be pretty seamless.
Kelly, do you feel that the players individually were just underperforming? And number two, was there a sense that they just were not responding to Cassidy's message? What was the dynamic there?
I think some of that. I think that we haven't performed as well as we're capable of. I think you're right, and I think that and I touched on just the results. They haven't been there. They haven't been there. We've trailed so often this year, and I think what you saw early on is when we fell behind, we'd play some terrific hockey to climb back in games and often win or get to overtime. You haven't seen that as much in the last 25, 30 games, right? And I think it's they're hard jobs. It's a hard job being an NHL player. It's a hard job being an NHL coach. There's it's demanding. It's demanding.
Let's take a last call here. If there's any final questions for Kelly this morning? Brent.
You mentioned that you think that John Tortorella's system fits well with the players on this team. What specifically about his system works well with the players that you have on this roster?
I think players like to play up-tempo and aggressive. I think under Butch, when we played our best, that's how we played. I think that our game is at a high level when we play that way. I think John really believes in that style of play, instills that. And then I think defensively, he's looking for players to be very committed, as Bruce did, and as our team plays. We block shots. We care about keeping the puck out of our net, and I think that some coaches play defensive zone much differently than we do. Some coaches play the neutral zone much differently than we do. I think that what we'll see is very much similar systems as we go along. Bearing in mind there's not a lot of practice time. As we go along, I think what you may not even see, but just even internally, I think there'll be tweaks, right? That's what you'll look for, and then our players will need to execute. That's how it works.
Let's take a final call. If there's any other questions for Kelly. Yep, go ahead, Terry.
Thank you. So we know that Tortorella was part of the Olympic hockey team with Jack Eichel and Noah Hanifin, with Carter Hart in Philadelphia. Do you think that chemistry was part of a reason why you looked at him?
Well, it's yes, that's all true. It didn't enter into why we chose who we chose. John was a member of the U.S. gold medal team, so he certainly would have had a relationship with Jack and Noah there. Different role. He was an assistant coach on that staff, and of course here he's going to be the head coach. But I think the familiarity, William Karlsson was another guy that has worked or played for John in the past. So Brandon Saad is a guy that played for John years ago as well. But guys will get to know John very quickly. I think that one of the things we feel comfortable with is those relationships are going to get up to speed in a hurry.
Steven.
Kelly, just a couple on the roster. Is there any change in status of William Karlsson and when he may be available? And then Carter Hart too, if he's
William is what I told you guys earlier. If we have a certain level of success in the playoffs, he'll be available to play. Carter's real close. He's going to do morning skate this morning, and he'll practice on Wednesday. And I think we're right there. And we expect he'll play regular season games. I guess would be maybe a tighter answer for you.
Bruce Cassidy is out as head coach, and John Tortorella takes over for the Vegas Golden Knights. There's General Manager Kelly McCrimmon, who spoke earlier today at City National Arena. Interesting, a lot of similarities when you hear Kelly talk about the two coaches. You're not replacing a guy over here with a guy over there. Mm-hmm. They approach the game differently. They handle their players, or they approach the game similarly. They handle their players similarly, but it's going to be a different voice.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it kind of boils down to. It's not a change that is going to change a lot, except for the voice.
Back with more after this.
Now, back to the VGK Insider Show.
Darren Millard, Ryan Wallace getting set to watch the Vancouver Canucks take on the Vegas Golden Knights on this Monday at T-Mobile Arena. Third game of a 4-game homestand for the VGK, but the debut of John Tortorella behind the Golden Knights bench, introduced as the fourth coach in franchise history earlier today after the announcement that he was going to replace Bruce Cassidy came down yesterday afternoon. So the game is one thing, and we won't spend, quite honestly, much time on this individual contest tonight between the two Pacific Division teams. The coaching change grabs a large part of our primary emphasis going into tonight. And something Kelly McCrimmon had to say today was somewhere along the line they lost their spirit, their energy. I've seen different reports, different people want to say that the players had tuned out Bruce Cassidy. I don't think that was the case based on simple play.
Yeah.
Results weren't there and haven't been there. But when players quit on a coach or tune a coach out, that means they stop playing that style, a lot of freelancing, trying to do it their own way. And all of the metrics that you look, Vegas continued to play strong defensively. Their structure was great. They still have top 10 special teams. The offensive chances were all there. So I'd be careful about throwing that out. Talked to several people in and around town the last day and a half, and what's been going down since the announcement, and I've got that question a few times, and I've responded in this way, that with a save here or a puck bouncing there, maybe they did get on a roll. But because they were in such a one step forward, two step back, two steps forward, one step back type of thing, and the playoff cut line was getting closer in the rearview mirror, you felt like you had to answer in some way for this team. But quitting on the coach or tuning the coach out, I don't think was the reason for the malaise. It might just be the crazy schedule, and this group got sucked down that black hole of the compacted schedule and the Olympics and everything that went along with it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be any number of reasons as to why, the team lost a bit of that energy and, the spirit in the comments from Kelly McCrimmon. But to your point, I don't believe that it's a scenario where, Bruce's message wasn't being received, or that the players themselves weren't receptive of, what he was trying to impart on them for every individual game. I think that if that were the case, and you've come on this show in the last couple of weeks pointing out, under the hood, things are trending in the right direction. Under the hood, the Golden Knights, their analytics are where you'd like them to be, where you would expect them to be. The only thing they're not getting right now is the results. And, I think one thing for me coming out of today earlier on is that there is an exuberance surrounding John Tortorella, and maybe that's just something that can be a catalyst or be a spark for the Golden Knights to start finding the results. But, in my view of where things are right now, I don't think it's a scenario where the Golden Knights players just tuned out Bruce Cassidy. I just think they're not getting results for whatever reason, and that's tough.
And nobody wants a colleague to lose their job.
Right.
Even if you don't get along with the colleague, you feel bad for that situation. In my professional experience, that's been the case. But the players will take from this a reaction of, well, management's not giving up on the season.
Right, 100%.
So let's do our part in putting our step forward on this. And they get a couple of games to start under John Tortorella. The final 8 games will begin tonight, and it's against the worst team in the National Hockey League. Not saying that there's any type of trap game here, but it's a great opportunity with the attention of the players after this move, coupled with the 32nd ranked team in the NHL. You can hopefully have a good performance. You follow that up with the rebuilding Calgary Flames on Thursday. some confidence rolled into it. 3 of the first 4 in this final 8 are against non-playoff teams. 6 of the final 8 are against what are right now non-playoff teams. The schedule sets up right to be able to gain some traction going forward and some confidence going forward under John Tortorella in these final 8.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it from that perspective, and there's absolutely an opportunity in front of the Golden Knights to go out there and seize the moment with this change in tow. But then again, you look at it from that perspective, and it's on the players. As much as John Tortorella is coming in here to be a different voice, we were in the room earlier today. He's not looking to make sweeping changes or anything like that. There's only 8 games remaining in the regular season. There will be some areas of emphasis that he's going to be focusing in on, but this is in the hands of the players to go out there and gain some of that traction that they hadn't been able to get over the course of the first 74 games.
If the players didn't like the coaching style of Bruce Cassidy, management's not putting a very similar coach in place.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's not the way you would do business.
Right. You'd go to the other end.
So this wasn't going hard ass to player-friendly coach.
Right, 100%.
As much as John Tortorella was great today,
mm-hmm.
and is excited about this team, he is who he is
right.
as a head coach. He's a firm hand on the wheel, but the different voice, or the change in voice is probably the better way to put it, just offers a firm reset. Now, you could have gone different ways with this. You could have stood firm
mm-hmm.
and hoped that it finally changed around, but after 2.5 months, I know there was the Olympic break in there, but 2.5 months of not seeing the progress, you find, and Kelly McCrimmon left this as late as he possibly could.
Right.
You could have stayed the course and hoped. Well, the last 2.5 months is a large enough sample size that you can make the assumption that it might not turn around.
Mm.
You could make the change and bring somebody else in, which they did with John Tortorella. And the players don't get a pass on this. John Tortorella's a firm coach. And so you get a similar style, but a different voice and a brand, a National Hockey League brand in John Tortorella. Or you could have made the change and promoted from within,
mm-hmm.
which I think was contemplated, I would assume, as well. All of those things were taken into consideration. They went with the option of John Tortorella, which probably has the most immediate shock value
mm-hmm.
Within the room, certainly from the hockey world, but within the room as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jack Eichel said it was a wake-up call, right? And again, in that vein, I think there's the expectations that are still on this club, that are still there from management, is that with a reset here and a change in the voice, there can be something great that happens for the Golden Knights. And so from that perspective, when you bring in a guy like John Tortorella, who's been through a lot, who's seen a lot, who is big on accountability, who's going to let you know where you stand and directly, very clearly explain what he wants out of you, you're right. You're going to a very similar type of coach, just with a little bit of a different feel. And we'll see if that can provide the type of hard reset the Golden Knights have been looking for over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, because you were able to get to the Olympic break and reset after that. You were able to get to the trade deadline and reset after that. This is as firm a reset as you can get with 8 games remaining.
Mark Stone coming up, but first let's qualify somebody to win a couple of tickets to attend the Frozen Four, the NCAA Division I Hockey Championship.
Yeah, the NCAA Men's Frozen Four Hockey Championship is coming to T-Mobile Arena April 9th and 11th, and Fox Sports Las Vegas is giving away a pair of tickets. Be listening all week for your chance to get in to win 2 tickets to the Frozen Four. The winner will be announced April 7th. Caller number 4, 702-876-1340. You will qualify to be in that drawing for Frozen 4 tickets.
Here is the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights, Mark Stone.
The reaction and the range of emotions in the room over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. team's not where we want to be, not where we want to be playing. You obviously take a little bit of a presence as a player that when these decisions happen, you take it a little bit on yourselves too, right? But it's a new day. Excited to get going. Still feel like we're in a pretty good spot in the standings. So we have 8 games to get dialed in and have a push for the playoffs.
What do you anticipate it'll be like to have a new voice with only 8 games remaining in the regular season?
Yeah, it's different. I've never been through this at this time of the year, but it's a new energy. It's a new voice, like you said. He's excited to be here. John's excited to be here. We have a good team. We have good players. So I think he's excited to see what he can do with us.
The message from Kelly was that this seemed to have lost the spirit and the energy, so the team has gone through that. Do you agree with that, and how do you get that back, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can just take a new voice. I think the locker room had gone a little stale. We weren't playing with that same emotion that we normally do. I think you saw when we play Edmonton, we play a rival team, there's energy, the game's rough, but we haven't been bringing ourselves into the fight a little bit, so I think that's probably what he's attesting to. And the same with Wash. It was a pretty flat game until, we get a crazy shorthanded sequence that brought us life into the game. But early on, we're not starting with that emotion, so I think that's probably the mindset going forward is to start the game with that kind of emotion.
John has mentioned he's not coming in here to change a bunch of things. He's going to rely on you guys as the captain. Do you feel like, with Bruce gone, do you feel like a little more responsibility, maybe taking ahead on those type of things?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. I mean, I think that we've done some good things. Listen, he's going to change a few things. There's no doubt about it. On and off the ice. So, I think we have the right players. The way we play, it suits the group. I think you can't make a ton of change with 8 games left in the season, but there is little things that need to be changed at the right time. I think you've seen some guys struggle, and I think he's going to come in here and try and uplift a lot of guys. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I've been struggling. Our best players haven't been our best players, so I think he's going to try and encourage us to get the swag, get the game without cheating.
When you say stale, did you get the sense that maybe Bruce's message wasn't sticking, or maybe it was beyond repair, or what do you?
Could be. Yeah, for whatever reason, it just showed in the play, right? I think for us, it was more of there was some good hockey being played at times, but like I keep coming back to, the emotion and it wasn't there for whatever reason. So I think that's why the change was made.
What was kind of the reaction of the locker room, assuming you guys all kind of got together after you learned it? What was the emotion of finding out that this had happened?
Well, we were off yesterday, so when we came in today, John was there. So obviously, you never expect things to happen, especially this late in the season. But I think the guys are excited. We still feel like we're in a good spot. We're fortunate that we're in the division we're in. The system fortunately allows us to regroup and get dialed in. So good energy this morning. The guys are prepared. Guys are excited to play tonight.
How did you find out? Did you find out in the news, or did Kelly call each of you and tell you that you guys the change was made?
Well, I don't think Kelly would have had the time to call every single guy. So, like I said, we were off yesterday, so a lot of us found out in the news. But that's the world we live in social media stuff. People find out pretty quick. So, had good meetings this morning. Say what you want. I mean, I believe in this team. I believe in this organization. I always have. I always will. So I still believe in it. Even with 8 games left, I think that's their mindset too. Is I think they still believe in us. But we were on a path that just didn't seem like was going the right way. So they made a change. And I don't know. It's call me crazy. I believe in every single one in this room. I believe in the organization. I believe in the team. So I'm excited for the next 8 games and hopefully get the team playing well and go to the playoffs. You never know.
You hear that, and it reminds me of 2023 a little bit when he's talking about, I still believe in this team. Call me crazy, but I think we got a good chance. We're in a good position. A little chip on the shoulder now coming from where they're positioned, third place in the division with 8 games to go and having made a coaching change.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's human nature, and you'd be surprised if that wasn't really the response from Mark Stone, right? Like, obviously I think everybody in the room still believes in one another, and, like Mark said, you don't make a change like this. You don't move on from Bruce Cassidy and bring in John Tortorella with 8 games left if you don't believe in the group of athletes that are in that room to figure it out, get it done, and go on a run. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword to that degree, because you do still believe in the team that you've assembled. You still do believe in the team in the room. Now you've got to find a way to put it together.
It reinforces the confidence that management has in the group.
100%. 100%.
Vegas starts tonight 6 points back of first place Anaheim, who are also in action, hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll get into that in one-timers news notes from around the National Hockey League, why the NHL Player Safety Department is keeping an eye on that game. Vegas is third in the Pacific. Between Anaheim and the VGK are the Edmonton Oilers at 83 points. So you first order of business, win tonight. Second, focus on trying to reel in the Edmonton Oilers and gain home ice advantage in the first round. And if you do, with this schedule that's ahead of them, that is VGK friendly, you are hoping that you can get some help and you can track down first place in the division, with Anaheim 6 points ahead with 16 points available.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. The first order of business is go out and handle business today, right? Like, go find a result against the Vancouver Canucks. Give yourself a win in this game, and then you can start to kind of zero in on everything else. But you mentioned it. You've got a game against the Edmonton Oilers, right? So if everything is equal and you take care of business up in Edmonton in a week's time, then you're in a really good spot to not just get home ice advantage, but depending on how things shake out over the next couple of games, you're right back in the mix. So it's not as if the Golden Knights are in a terrible spot. I mean, Mark Stone said it, right? He said it with a bit of a chuckle. Still in a pretty good spot. You're in a playoff spot right now. You have an opportunity to track down the teams that are in front of you. Now you've got to go out and lay the groundwork and win some games.
We'll give you the Vegas Golden Knights schedule in detail as we continue. This is hour number 1 of the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
You're listening to the VGK Insider Show.
More on the coaching change by the Vegas Golden Knights, putting John Tortorella in behind the Golden Knights bench for tonight's game against the Vancouver Canucks. Tortorella will coach the rest of this season, and then management and John Tortorella will look at it at the end of the campaign when that does take place. Hopefully it's in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Golden Knights are working on a decent advantage with 8 games to go, but are a couple of games away from being able to secure that spot. A 96-point campaign is within reach if they run the table. We always had 90 points as sort of the cutoff that would guarantee you to get in. They're well within that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it objectively for the Golden Knights, that's 5 wins over their final 8 games. That's something the Golden Knights are absolutely capable of doing. That would get them to 90 points, or some configuration of 10 points over the final 8 games would do it. So, yeah, I mean, listen, they're in a good spot, but it all hinges on finding the results.
John Tortorella is the name of the day in the National Hockey League, been talked about from one end of the NHL to the other. The word of the day is much different at Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Yeah, Fox Sports Las Vegas wants you to hit the jackpot every Monday through Friday. You could win $2,026 just by listening up for the daily code word and texting it to 702-876-1340. The contest opens each day at 8 a.m. and goes until 6 p.m. The code word changes daily, so make sure you're listening to the VGK Insider Show to get the code word, and just like that, you could hit the jackpot, $2,026, all thanks to Lotus Broadcasting, Paul Padala, and Fox Sports Las Vegas. All right, word of the day.
Okay, what is it?
Queens.
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 Queens. Yes, like deck of cards.
Queens.
Yes, you got it right. Well done.
There we are. Well, I try and spell it out,
right?
So people know. And B-Q-U-E-E-N-S. wary of the autocorrect.
Yes, and also
Shouldn't
make
come
sure
into play here.
Make sure it's Queens and not Queen. Got to have the S on the end.
And you will get a response.
Yes.
That says that you were entered if the word is spelled correctly. So here's the biggest reason why I'm confident the Vegas Golden Knights are still in a position to be a factor in the Western Conference of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've been close. Like, they lost to Washington the other night in a shootout. The rival Edmonton Oilers, they fell in overtime. They've had good games and games that they were off, but they've always been in the games all the way along. Whether they were victimized by slow starts that got them or an inability to finish, there's been different rotating factors that have caused the wins to be elusive. But they've been right there. If they're close and they've been in malaise is the word I'll use because Kelly McCrimmon mentioned they lost their spirit or their energy along the way. Mark Stone used the word stale. If the team's close without the buzz on the bench or in the room, where will they be? Like, how much do they have to improve to be on the other side of it? And I don't think a lot.
Well, I don't think that's the hard part about all of this is that I think they've played well. There have been certainly more pockets recently of strong play for the Golden Knights.
Tactically, they played well.
Yes, but that's important. Like, listen, as much as I'm going to sit here and tell you 10 games left, 8 games left, all that matters are the results, like, you still have to play well in order to get the results.
So if you're tactically in the game, if you add the emotional part, it should make you a complete group.
Well, what it should do is give you the results, right? Like, we have been after the question all season long. Why haven't the results matched up with how this team is playing? Why haven't they been able to be the team that makes that one extra play, that is able to get that extra save, or whatever the case may be? That's where I think you're hoping the spirit, the energy comes from. That's where I think you're hoping that the exuberance, the energy changes, and you're able to find those plays.
And there's probably less pressure individually on players. Mark Stone admitted he's been struggling lately.
Yeah.
He's trying to work his way through that. I think he's well on his way after the last couple of games that he's cleared that hurdle. But when things aren't going right, the team's having trouble finishing. Players take that personally in a sense of, I've got to pull my weight. If you're not focused on doing it yourself, or I got to convert on these chances and the game is just flowing, it's a whole lot easier to play and just be in the rhythm of the game.
How much do you think you're going to get that energy against Vancouver tonight? Like, because
I think this is the worst case scenario for the worst team in the National Hockey League.
Right. It should be. Yeah. Because this is the game you're looking at, and you're wanting to see that response. You're wanting to see that energy. You're wanting to see that emotion come out of the Golden Knights in this one.
See, what was causing harm to their momentum was if they did get scored on first, it was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Well, this is a reset. The guy behind the bench wasn't part of that.
Right.
There'll be a different feeling naturally from him compared to Bruce, who has the scar tissue from the last 2.5 months. So just by having a different voice back there, you will have different energy if you do allow the first goal, and I think that will be one of the biggest factors in this game. I think they'll come out and they'll be pumped. They're excited to get this going. In talking to John Tortorella in the player meeting today, they're looking forward to this. But it's when things get knocked off stride, you've got just a different place to come from.
Yeah, it's not the same old song and dance for John Tortorella, right? Like, everything is new for him with 8 games left in the regular season. So you get scored on first, okay, just go get the next one. And that's where you see just the difference of having him behind the bench might help this team.
Loved what Mark Stone said. Little changes will be made at the right time but we're going to be encouraged to get that swagger back.
Yeah.
Well, John Tortorella has swagger.
He sure does.
You saw some of that today as his introduction. You'll hear from him in hour number 2 of the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Stay with us.
Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm studios.
Wake-up call, I think, for the group. We have a really good team in here, and, we obviously haven't been performing to our capability and expectations. So I think that it's a message that the management believes in us, but we have to start playing better.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
More energy and more spirit, more enthusiasm. It feels like we've been maybe lacking a few of those things recently, and just take another step here. We got 8 games before the playoffs. Obviously, we're in a tight race right now. We got to start winning games, and that's what's important.
With Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
I don't think it's necessarily a hard thing to do. I think it's more of a mindset thing. So yeah, listen, if we want to get to where we're going, we have to obviously start playing better and win hockey games. But that's the type of game you want to play.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Eventful last 26 hours and counting from the Vegas Golden Knights standpoint, who made a coaching change on Sunday afternoon. Bruce Cassidy replaced by John Tortorella. They will play tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. John Tortorella at the facility today met with the media and was able to also, more importantly, gather with the players and express his plan going forward, his style, his approach, and tonight will coach his first game for the Vegas Golden Knights, the 4th coach in franchise history, and they will take on the 32nd ranked team in the NHL, also known as the last place Vancouver Canucks. So it's set up perfectly for a big night. Execution is another thing. We know that there are no guarantees just based on the roster of the Vegas Golden Knights and how they have struggled to put together a good stretch in the last 2.5 months, which is how we get to this day that offers up a fresh face behind the bench in John Tortorella. Darren Millard along with Ryan Wallace. We're getting set for this game at T-Mobile Arena. It's the first of 8 games left in the Vegas Golden Knights schedule. 2 games against Vancouver, 32nd ranked team in the NHL. 2 games against Seattle, team outside the playoff picture in the Western Conference in the Pacific Division. Calgary Flames, not in a playoff position, rebuilding a hockey club. They'll come up on Thursday. Winnipeg Jets making some noise in the Western Conference, but still not in a playoff position. The only 2 teams that are right now in a postseason position of the last 8 games are the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. It's a favorable stretch drive for the Vegas Golden Knights to get their mojo back.
If you were looking for a stretch that could give you traction, this is it. That's the reality of the situation. You chronicled the opponents on the ledger for the Golden Knights with 8 games left. You've got emotional games against Edmonton that you typically bring out the best in the Golden Knights. So if you can parlay the next couple of games into that Edmonton game and feel good about where you're at, you can realistically go on a bit of a run here. So that's really what's in the cards for the Golden Knights.
Energy, spirit, enthusiasm. The Vegas Golden Knights are looking for a boost from John Tortorella, who met with the media the first time today as coach of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hi, John. Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
Obviously not a lot of time here and really laid off the runway. Just what are you expecting to do with this group in the last 8 games, and what are you hoping to start with tonight?
Yeah, we're not going to make many changes. In fact, I was texting Butchie last night when I was flying in here and thanked him for having the team the way it is right now, with me getting an opportunity to coach now with him gone. And so just remember, the guy that left here is a pretty damn good coach. So I feel very fortunate coming into this situation, and I am not going to upset and fill the players with information. I have a few points of emphasis that we'll go over as a team. I already did this morning in our first meeting, just about mindset and odds and ends that I'll just keep with the team for now. But that's basically where it goes.
Steve. Hi, John. Steve Karp with the Sporting Tribune. When you would watch Vegas on TV, what impressed you And what concerned you as you would watch them play?
Yeah, I really haven't watched them play that much this year. I know the room. That's one of the more impressive things for me in coming here. Start with management right on through the room. I know it's a strong room, laden with playoff tested players. Let's face it, the organization is a really good organization. And I'm going to lean on, I've already leaned on my coaching staff. I leaned on some players already, just asking them some thoughts. As I said, I have some points. One of them I like to, in the games I've watched, I just like to see us play faster. Everybody wants to play fast, right? It's an easy word to say, but I think that comes into mindset also. So, yeah, we'll pick away at it, but I am not going to overthink this. I'm not going to overload them and paralyze them. We've got some quality people here. I want to come in and try to help.
One of the challenges this team has had is they've fallen behind quite a bit. Starts have been a little bit slow. Is there anything can you diagnose what the problem is and what you could change to fix it?
Yeah, I haven't diagnosed it. It's a tough one to diagnose. We'll certainly bring it up. It's just basically a reminder. I tell you, the biggest part of hockey now, I don't think it's the X's and O's. I do think it's your mind. That's a readiness. I think they've been told a few times about their starts, I'm sure. I'm sure you guys have written about it a little bit. We'll remind them, but also respect them. They know where they're at here now in the standings, right? It's they know where we're at, and it's up for the coaching staff to just get them together and be ready to start these games and go from there.
Vince Sapienza with Fox 5 here in Las Vegas. I guess obviously this all happened quick. How quick was this in terms of your communication and getting here, and then your first interaction with the group as a whole? Any takeaways?
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole timeline of it. A guy lost his job, right? And Butchie, I know him well, family. We're going to move forward. I felt I needed to reach out to him last night. We had a good conversation, and that's where it stops for me. I wanted to thank him, and now my sight is set on this game here. Talk to the players about that also. It's a big change for them too, right? We just want to move forward here with kind of a really crazy situation with only 8 games left. So we need to start thinking ahead and just take this day here against Vancouver and move to the next one.
Hey, John, Gary Lawless from the Golden Knights. You have a lot of experience. This, I would imagine, is a new circumstance for you. And what, in your experience, gives you the confidence to think you can have a positive impact on this group?
Yeah, well, if I in this business here, whether you're a player or a coach, I think you need to have the ability to accept a challenge, right? And I got bombed out of Philly with 9 games left last year. Now I come here with 8 games left in a new job. It's a couple of crazy situations I've never been involved for, but that's the league. That's pro sports, and I think as coaches and players, when you get to this level, the highest level of the game, you need to be prepared to handle that stuff. And I'm very fortunate to get the opportunity. I don't know Kelly as well as George. Mr. Foley also, I talked to him on the phone. I'm very fortunate to get the opportunity to work with this managers group and players, because the organization is so well respected, and I don't want to let them down. I'm going to prepare myself each and every day to be the best I can be, the best version of me to help the team. But I think the important thing is that we need to do it together, and looking forward to the challenge.
John, Dave Gosher with the Golden Knights. I'm curious about your last month. You win the gold behind the bench as a member of the staff.
That was a blast.
With the U.S.
Yeah,
sure, that was fun.
A blast.
But then you go back home. Was there still this burning desire? Hey, I'd like to, if the great situation arose, to be a coach again?
Yeah, I know some things are out there. I've never wanted to stop coaching. I love coaching in Philly. that caught me off guard a little bit when that happened, and love the players. I follow the team. Just because you lose your job, you still have relationships with the players. So, I've been in the league long enough. I don't have an agent. I'm not out there chatting it up and trying to find jobs. 2 grandkids, got involved with my family a little bit, that you very rarely get to do when you're in this business. And so I jumped on that opportunity. And if something happened, something happened. If something didn't, I've been blessed to be in this league as long as I have. And this came up, and I said, man, I'm in. And again, it's a terrific organization, and I just want to come in and keep my head down and just try to help the best way I can to try to find a way to get in and see where we go from there.
Hi, John. Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you.
You've worked with a handful of these players previously throughout your time of coaching. What are your conversations been like with them, and how has it already helped you acclimate to Las Vegas?
Yeah, well, what I hope it helps is their conversations with other players that don't know me, that are in this locker room here. Always great to see. I saw Carter, who played so good for me in Philly, and saw Bill Carlson, just some of the guys. It's always great to see them. So I've been swimming upstream here a little bit, trying to find our way. It's been very busy meeting everybody here today. Haven't had a chance to sit down with all of them. But I think when players, when a new coach comes in and some players have played for him before, I think the questions from other players to them are the important ones. So I think sometimes there's perception, then there's reality of the people. I hope they get the information, and I was very frank with them this morning how I was going to approach it in just this short window of playing games and who I am, and we'll see where it goes.
Darren Millard, Golden Knights. Tonight, the challenges more specifically, from tactically to knowing names and numbers and line changes on the bench. What's that going to play?
Tactically. We've already gone over just a couple of things, just so I could get that in their head and see. I'm not going to change what I said, but there was a couple things I wanted to, and I just wanted to see if they feel good doing that. So I did it this morning, and they'll come to me tonight and say, you know what, maybe we need to practice it, or something like that. So I wanted to give them some information, but my biggest thing, I'm a little concerned about the names, and I've been in my office writing down the lines. I've written them down 4 times or so, just so I have a pretty good idea what the lines are. But the power play units, the penalty killing, I talked to Johnny on the penalty killing. I really have leaned on the coaching staff. They basically have put the lineup in tonight for tonight's game for me, based on how the team's been playing since in the past few games. So it'll come back quickly, I think. But I'll be doing a lot of some of the game I won't see because I'm trying to figure out who's on the bench and who's up next. But it always happens that way. But that'll get smoothed out quickly. The tactical part, it's a great question, because I do not want to change a lot. My change is, and like I said, points of emphasis is mindset. I just want to I want to see just a hardness. And when you talk about hardness, that's not body checking, that's not fighting. That's a general term where there's so many headings underneath that, and it comes through mindset. That's what I want to coach, because they've been a pretty successful team here for years. I know it's been a bit of a struggle this year, but we still have a lot of faith that we can find our way.
If I may, I probably should follow up on the Olympics. Last time we were behind the bench, it was pretty awesome, evidently. Yeah. What was your main takeaway from a huge moment to be part of that with USA Hockey?
With USA Hockey, that was, it was Canada too, right? So it was pretty good, and Canada kind of had its way with US and in the 4 nations. Great goaltending. We've got to speak about that. And Hellebuyck played unbelievable. It's hard to describe because it's such a great tournament with some of the greatest players around, and then to win it in overtime. It ends so quickly. It's crazy. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it now, but great group of guys. The biggest take I take out of that, and this is what I love about our athletes in our game, is you have all those stars. I'll speak for our team. You have all those stars in our team that are used to playing the big minutes, right? Over the boards for the power play, over the boards for the penalty kill, regular shift, last minute. They had to accept roles, right? Because we can't divvy it out. You're going to lose some ice time. You're going to lose, and that you need to accept your role. I think Mike Sullivan did a great job in explaining the roles, and I watched that team accept their roles, and I think that's one of the most important parts of Olympic hockey is becoming a team as quickly as you can, because you don't have a lot of time. I thought we did a really good job of that, and we found a way. You know, we had some great goals to keep us in the game, and then we found a way at the end. So, and I thought the celebration was one of the greatest celebrations I've seen a hockey team have. To sit back and watch them act like fools and little kids, it was cool. It was really cool.
Coach Chris Matthews with CBS here in town. You've had a quarter of a century to build a pretty impressive resume and some really cool viral clips on social media and YouTube.
Yeah.
What's kind of your style? When you look at some of those fun clips, do you kind of chuckle inside a little bit?
Listen, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I answer questions. I'm going to answer them honestly. I'm not saying I'm the greatest guy in the world after games, because you're in the fight with the players, and you guys need us out here 10 minutes after the game, which is insane, because we're still amped up, and I'm going to try to answer your questions as honestly as I can. Sometimes emotion gets in the way. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing, right? We all make some mistakes doing it. I'm going to do the best I can for you guys, and I'll never lie to you. You might not get some information from me along the way where I think it's important to stay in the room, but I hope I treat you fairly and with respect, and I'm sure I'll make some mistakes along the way.
So I won't ask you to detail your lines. Obviously, hi, Tor. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Kelly McCrimmon mentioned he'd like to see an energy shift from the team based on what he's seen the last several weeks. How energized and excited are you about this opportunity? You seem a little giddy, right? But given where this team is and the personnel that you have, how just excited are you personally?
Yeah. I've been rebuilding for a number of years along the way here in the last couple of stops, and to come into a team that just understands how to win, has won, has played in a bunch of playoff series. I've got to be careful, and this is something I've self-talked for the time that I've been given this great opportunity, is get out of the way too. You just get out of the way, and you can learn from them also. And I need to take information from them, and that's what I tried to open up doors of communication in our first meeting today. I want them to be able to come to me and say what's on their mind, and that's exciting for me. And again, listen, I've been in the league a long time, won some, lost some, done some dumb things along the way. To get an opportunity in this point of my career to come here, are you kidding me? So I'm going to try to do the best I can, and I just want to help. That's what I told the boys today. We're going to do it together. A good man lost his job. That affects these guys. Don't think it doesn't. We've got good people in our game. They feel for Butchie too, and so we got to try to make it stand here. And so I'm anxious to be part of it with them.
Last call for questions, guys. Next we'll go back to Danny. We'll finish up with Jesse.
You mentioned Carter. Obviously, he's getting close.
How many kids? 2. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You mentioned Carter. Obviously, he's getting closer to a return. That'll give you 3 goalies to work with in the rotation. What has been your take on the goaltending right now, and I guess conversations with Sean as far as either deploying all 3, or do you see Aiden getting a lion's share, or how do you see that happening?
Yeah, Berkey and I haven't gotten into when I got on the plane yesterday, I couldn't get through on his phone, so we were kind of texting with one another, and haven't really gotten to a long conversation about that. 3 goalies, it's a tricky thing to do, especially at the end of the year when you're really trying to figure out, hoping you get in, and getting your team basically trying to get in and also be ready to play in the playoffs. I've had just one really short conversation with the medical people on Carter, progressing the right way. So as this whirlwind and bringing it to this game, when we don't play until Thursday, those are a lot of things I've got to talk to a lot of people around here about. So not to evade your question, I just don't have much information. Hopefully after this game tonight, I'll be able to sit down and get to a number of people in this building and try to figure some things out.
Last one for John.
Hi, John. Jesse Granger with The Athletic. I know the Olympics is a short tournament, not a lot of practices, but did you build a relationship with Eichel at all, and how excited are you to coach?
Yeah, he's a
player?
beauty. I got a chance with him in Four Nations, and now the Olympics. You know what? I'll tell you, up close and watching him Four Nations every day for a couple of weeks, the Olympics, he has turned into a player. And I watched him in Buffalo, and you know, some of the stuff, and he was younger and all that, but some of the stuff that I thought he was doing, you know, he's changed. He's a full 200-foot player. You're going to look down that bench from every situation in the game, and to get to watch him, it's really weird now I'm coaching him, to get to watch him up close there, he's impressive. And he's got leadership qualities too. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the challenge. He's not afraid to try to make a difference, and is always looking over his shoulder wanting to get back on the ice. So I'm anxious to get to know him better. I really don't know him that well, you know, and I was not the head coach of those tournaments, so you get to know him at a different level. So I'm anxious to get to know him, and you know, he's gonna have to put us on his back. He's gonna have to be a big part of this for us to do the things we want to do.
Thank you, John.
John Tortorella in his initial meeting with the media earlier today, and you can tell the upbeatness of the voice through the radio that he's really excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing that I think jumps off the page when you listen to John Tortorella over that exchange, is just how excited he is to be here in Vegas, to get to coach this team, to have the opportunity with 8 games left to get them firmed up into a playoff spot, and then, you know, hopefully navigate them to a long playoff run. Like, you could just sense how much this means to John Tortorella.
Couple of thoughts in reaction to what John Tortorella had to say, and that might be the last time I call him John Tortorella.
It's Torts from now on.
It's Torts from now on.
Yeah.
It feels awkward for me.
It is
to
awkward
to say John Tortorella, or around the office we say John. I'm like, John. Oh, Torts. That's Torts. That's it. We'll continue with the VGK Insider Show and a chance to win Golden Knight tickets to see the VGK take on the Calgary Flames when we continue with One-Timers News Notes from around the National Hockey League next on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
It's about the recovery.
Thanks to Paul Padelaw for sponsoring One-Timers, as well as presenting the Paul Padelaw Hockey Parlay Contest. We give you 3 games every Friday. The lucky contestant picks 3 winners. You win the jackpot. It starts at $100 and grows by $100 every week. There's not a winner. And this Friday, we will play for $1,100.
Sure will.
That's coming up during the VGK Insider Show on Friday. Stay with us throughout the week for opportunities to win tickets, but on Friday you can take home cold, hard cash. We'll have an opportunity to win some VGK tickets to see the Golden Knights take on the Calgary Flames coming up on Thursday. That's just in just a little bit. First, a couple of comments regarding the conversation that the media enjoyed today with John Tortorella, and you could feel the enthusiasm, the excitement he has for this group. He's looking at it from this perspective. When you're hired to take over a team, there's a pretty good chance that team's gone in the wrong direction. And I'm not saying the last 2.5 months have been rosy for the Vegas Golden Knights, but this is a club that's in a top 3 position right now with 8 games to go in the regular season. You're within sight of a home ice berth position in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And if you could do something magical with the schedule that they have in the final 8, you could have the possibility to put some pressure on the Anaheim Ducks. You never take over a team that's in this spot, and a team that you don't have to make major changes to. we've heard from the players and John Tortorella. From a strategy standpoint, system element, there's not going to be a lot to do here or a lot of time to do it.
Right.
The biggest impact might be just being fresh on the scene and being able to lighten the load on the players. When you're Bruce Cassidy and you've battled this the entire year, the default is to dig in more, and that's something that we all do as parents or coworkers. When things aren't going the way we necessarily want to do it, you double down and put more into it. Taking your foot off the gas as a head coach is contrary to everything
counterintuitive. Yep.
That you want to do. This change, and with the time left before the playoffs, might be we'll see starting tonight, but just lightening the mood around the room or offering a fresh voice might be the right tonic, because it's the same beliefs in the way they approach hockey is Bruce Cassidy to John Tortorella. You're not getting a different coach there, but you are getting a different coach. It might be as simple as that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love the fact that John said flat out, I'm not going to overthink this situation, right? And
that's a hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do, but I love the fact that he's aware of it. I love the fact that he's cognizant of it, that he came in understanding that this isn't a scenario where you're coming in to shake things up in the sense that you want to change a bunch of things or you're trying to overload the players. It's not what they need with 8 games left. What they need with 8 games left is just a clean slate to a certain degree to go out there and recapture who they are as a team. And so, if you're coming in with that mindset, I think it's the right mindset to have. You're right, it's not easy to do, but I think the fact that John Tortorella is aware of it is massive for this team with 8 games left.
Very rare is a move made with a playoff team that you change coaches after the trade deadline. Has happened in the past.
Yep.
Go through mid-season coaching changes of teams that went on to win the Stanley Cup, though. How rare is that? How often do you think it's happened? Let's say last quarter century.
Well, it happened for the Kings in 2012, and they won. It happened for St. Louis, and they won. So that's 2. I'll say 4.
5 times.
Oh.
So think of that. 5 out of it's 24 years because there was a canceled season in there.
Yeah.
That's more often than I would have ever thought that it occurred.
Right.
20% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Kelly said it. The easiest thing to do is to do nothing. If you believe in the room, if you believe in the team, if you believe that there is something missing that you're not able to get right now, and you don't want to look at this season when it's all said and done as a season that got away from you for inexplicable reasons, you go out and you do something. You make a tough, difficult decision, and that's what the organization has decided to do.
And they've happened in various forms. In 2000, New Jersey was a first-place team in their division. But Lou Lamoriello didn't like what he was seeing from the team. They'd gone into a little bit of a funk.
Yeah.
So he took Robbie Ftorek out and put Larry Robinson in.
Worked well.
That was one of those direct coaches versus more of a player's coach type of situation. They responded. New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup. In 2009, Pittsburgh Penguins, Mike Therrien out.
Yes.
Dan Bilesma
Yes,
in.
I forgot about that one.
Different voice.
Okay.
Made a huge impact on that group.
Yeah.
That happened with 25 games to go. The Larry Robinson promotion, same number of games left as Vegas has.
Right.
8.
Yeah.
That's the fewest. But 25 games to go in 2009. Pittsburgh Penguins won. You offered up the Daryl Sutter example. They won 2 cups in 3 years, but in 2012, Daryl Sutter took over, and that was with more than half the season to go.
Yeah.
In 2016, Pittsburgh Penguins won. with Mike Sullivan taking over with 54 games to go. Pittsburgh's done it twice.
That's unreal. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Bilesma still, right?
Nope.
Who was it?
I want to say it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I can't. I'll figure it out.
Mike.
Mike.
It's Mike.
It was Mike.
It was Mike. And in 2019, St. Louis Blues won the Stanley Cup after Craig Berube took over. There was a lot of the season left there.
Mm-hmm.
A big stretch. 63 games. But that team kind of came out of nowhere. In a sense, they were last overall, and they were trending towards being bad. Like Columbus, what they've done, they were last in the Eastern Conference, but it was within reach.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a false last.
Sure.
Craig Berube in 2019, the last coach to do it, last team to do it.
Mike Johnston. Mike Johnston was the coach.
There we are.
And then it was Mike Sullivan, and then he won a Stanley Cup.
Right.
Back-to-back Stanley Cup.
So,
gotta like it.
Mike.
You were right on the money. It was Mike.
Mm.
Mike replacing Mike.
I remember that one because a buddy of mine was interviewed for that job.
Oh, really?
Doug McLean.
Nice.
Was interviewed before they went with Sullivan. They talked to Doug McLean about that. And that was an interesting one. They'd also talked to Doug before they hired Mike Johnson. Doug we were at the Stanley Cup final in 2015, and they were going back and forth on it with Doug. Doug was disappearing for meetings. He wasn't coming out with the boys, or he wasn't coming out for lunch or anything. He was disappearing. We're like, what is going on with you?
Sure.
Because I got stuff going on. Selling condos. PI sells condos. But yeah, he didn't end up getting that job. Went to Mike Johnson and then over to Mike Sullivan. So those are 5 times in 24 years.
Yeah.
That the Stanley Cup champion has made an in-season coaching change. That's higher than I would have thought.
I think I was skewed just because I've been aware of a couple of those instances, which is why I put that number around 4. And I part of that just kind of feels right. It doesn't happen often, but certainly more than you'd expect it to over a 25-year stretch.
So, Pittsburgh, stacked lineup.
Yeah.
Happened twice.
Yeah.
Different voice. Boom. I would compare that to what we're seeing here at this example. Great foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Different voice. The core in Pittsburgh had won.
Yeah. Yeah, and
this core has won.
Yeah, and to your point, right? Like it's a well-defined core. Like the Pittsburgh Penguins, you knew who they were. You understood the pieces that they had. You recognized that they should have been better than what they were just from a results perspective, and they were able to get moving in the right direction. So the only difference here is the runway for the Golden Knights is not what it was for the Pittsburgh Penguins when they made those changes.
Daryl Sutter taking over in 12.
Yeah,
that was still an 8th seed.
Yes,
going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they had to claw and scratch just to get into the postseason.
No, they won 2 years later and had their own challenges in that. But
they were
the midseason change in their first cup. Mm-hmm. They still had to scratch and claw. They were not anywhere near a favorite or a cup contender in all the experts' minds that year. And St. Louis, same situation.
Yeah,
had gone on a great run to get back into playoff consideration and were well thought of. But you thought, when's the slipper going to fall off?
Yeah, the 2012 Kings were interesting because to your point, I don't think anyone expected them to do anything in the postseason. I don't think anybody expected that they were going to go on a run, and it was a dominant run in the playoffs. So, again, if you can get the right voice and if you can get everyone pulling in the same direction and you can reintroduce the swagger that we know the Golden Knights have had at various stages in their history, they can go on a run similar to what LA did. It's very possible.
Vegas Golden Knights with Torts behind the bench tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. It's hard. we're also shocked with 8 games to go. Then you hear Torts, and you're like, wow. And then you get into the 32nd team in the National Hockey League coming in. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Like, if it's not a lopsided victory, don't judge it, because there's a lot of moving parts for everybody. A lot of energy has been used up by players, Torts, the coaching staff, everybody.
Yeah.
This could be more of a challenge than necessarily think, just because of all that's happened over the last 28 hours.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to compartmentalize everything that has happened and go out and play a game. It just isn't. Like, human nature is human nature. And Torts talked about it in his press conference. Like, the fact that at the end of the day, a coach that helped this team win a Stanley Cup is no longer with the organization, that's going to weigh heavy on individual players. It's going to weigh heavy on everyone in that room. And so there's a lot to compartmentalize. There's a lot to kind of, set in a box and go out and try to be the best version of yourself in this game tonight. But it is not going to be an easy game by any stretch. Even though it's Vancouver, even though you look at it and you say, on paper, this is one you should win and you should win handily, any win is what you're after today.
Going to get a chance to talk to Kelly McCrimmon on the television pregame show on Scripps Sports in just a little bit. One thing I want to just mention to him, it's incredible that the Golden Knights made this coaching change with 8 games left, which for a playoff team has only happened once,
right?
Where you make that kind of change, and New Jersey ended up winning the Stanley Cup. But the fact that the timing of it with 8 games left was so overshadowed when the name of the guy coming in was revealed.
Yeah.
Like, it should be equal. Like, making the change with 8 games left is significant.
Right.
Very unique.
Massive shake.
But the brand of Torts, that name recognition, swamped. That's all anybody wanted to talk to me about over the last day and a half.
Yeah, I mean, and, I think it takes a strong personality to come in and do what Torts is being asked to do.
But
right?
that became a bigger, the guy coming in became a bigger story than making a change with 8 games to go.
Yeah, yes. But again, I
from the outside,
and that's perfectly fine. I guess the way that I'm viewing it from the inside is that you're going to need the brand of John Tortorella to really zero in on the desired outcome of making this change. You need a strong personality moving forward. You just do.
Action tonight will include the Vegas Golden Knights and Vancouver Canucks, an opportunity for Vegas to get within 1 point of idle Edmonton. Also in the Pacific Division, Anaheim hosting Toronto. First game that these teams have played since Radko Gudas was suspended for 5 games for kneeing Austin Matthews and ending the star forward's season. NHL Player Safety Department is all over it. The head of that department, George Peros, is in Anaheim watching this game. You got to be careful with this. I talked to Colin Campbell today, executive NHL vice president, the 100% Hockey podcast, and we were talking about like Steve Moore back in the day.
Yep.
And Todd Bertuzzi, and that incident was 2 games down the road when they met. It was a lopsided game, and players took it upon themselves to gain their revenge. Even if you try and fight Radko Gudas, you got to be like, if you're potentially doing damage to another human being out of retribution, it's a really fine line there.
What do you expect the response?
I think
to
there'll
be
an early fight
Toronto?
and then they'll play.
Yeah, that's probably the way it should be, right? Like
in Toronto, it's more incumbent on Toronto.
Yeah, to go out there and do something.
But because there was so much attention to the lack of response after the incident, the league's talked to both teams.
Yeah.
But that Toronto room has to be careful not to go too far.
Yeah, you can't go over the line. I think if you find a way to square up with Radko Gudas, you get the fight out of the way early, you're able to move beyond it, move past it, that's going to be best case scenario for everybody.
Golden Knights with Torts behind the bench, making his debut for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. He will also be behind the bench on Thursday against the Calgary Flames, and he says there's so much work to do the 2 days between games to get dialed in. Looking forward to that game. That'll be Zach Whitecloud's return to the Fortress, and you can be here on behalf of the Golden Knights and the Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show.
Yep, 702-876-1340. That's the number. We're going to take caller number 11. Caller number 11, 702-876-1340. You're seeing the Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames.
Set you up for the pregame show on Fox Sports Las Vegas when we continue to the Golden Knights Insider Show.
That was One-Timers. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Make it funny. We're down to the wire. It's the last minute of play.
Big game tonight at T-Mobile Arena, the Fortress. The Vegas Golden Knights, with 8 games remaining, start a stretch in which they play 6 non-playoff teams the rest of the way. But tonight is all about the debut of John Tortorella behind the bench. Torts takes over from Bruce Cassidy after the coaching change was announced yesterday. And we heard from Mark Stone earlier on the VGK Insider Show, and just looking for a little jump, a little enthusiasm, increase in the spirit in the room, and hopefully that matches up with the strong play on the ice that they've been able to deliver. And if you put them together, Ryan, it should make for a better result. The team does have points in the first 2 games of this 4-game homestand, going to extra time and overtime and a shootout loss. See if that change gets them over the hump tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're hoping for, right? You're hoping for just a jolt, a spark, if you will, in bringing in John Tortorella, because again, under the hood, analytically, I think the Golden Knights have been playing well. I think that, you can look at it in certain spots, situations where they've just been a little unlucky in terms of the results. But with 8 games remaining and wanting to firm up your playoff standing, you need the results. You need to get them. And if you can get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swagger, and a little bit of traction, then maybe the Golden Knights can go on a run here.
And we've seen signs of people coming out of it in the top line in particular.
Yeah.
What Mark Stone did a couple of games ago with a 2-goal performance at a 3-point night. Jack Eichel coming off a 3-point night. Ivan Barbashev is back scoring. That unit right there has looks like that they're on the other side of the malaise.
Yeah, Mitch Marner, big power play goal for 20 on the year. I thought Rasmus Anderson was excellent as well. You get a contribution from Nick Dowd, so you got balanced scoring as well for the Golden Knights. But yeah, to your point, I think Mark Stone getting a couple of goals, Jack Eichel finding the score sheet as well. 3-point night against Washington. It should give you confidence moving forward that if those guys are moving in the right direction and they're productive in the way that you expect them to, that good things should follow for Vegas.
But it's been a whirlwind for Torts. But think about like somebody like Rasmus Anderson.
Yes.
Acquired, had to wait on the immigration process to play out. Then he went to the Olympic Winter Games, comes back. He's been all over the continent since then, and now he's through a coaching change. It's hard to get your hand around.
Yeah, I mean, Rasmus Anderson's experienced about 3 seasons and about a month and a half, 2 months.
And I think he's playing his best hockey the last 5 games.
Agree with you 100%. I think you're seeing him activate way more in the offensive zone. He's finding where his teammates want him to find them. I've loved Anderson's game, the last couple anyway. And, as long as he continues to grow and get better in that situation, he's going to provide some offense for this team.
Different approach from Torts. On game days, he does go out for the morning skate, and he does the media while the players are skating to get those duties out of the way. So he's going to coach a game today without ever being on the ice with the group.
Yes. Yeah, it's wild. It's
an unusual
unique.
wrinkle there.
Yeah, it's unique for sure. It's been a very interesting day, very new feel in terms of the day, and yeah, we'll see how it translates on the ice.
Wonder if he's got the quarter zip going tonight.
I hope he does. It's like my favorite John Tortorella look.
No tie. Quarter zip. Gets cold down there.
I'm all for the business casual.
As Kelly McCrimmon said about John Tortorella, Torts is comfortable in his own skin.
Yep.
He will coach his first game for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Fourth coaching in franchise history as the Golden Knights host the Vancouver Canucks on Fox Sports Las Vegas. The pregame show with Ryan Wallace next. Stay tuned.